Class, our today's new topic is sound, and in this chapter we will discuss about different sources of sound, what is longitudinal waves and how sound behave as longitudinal waves, except that what is the amplitude and frequency of sound, and there are so many other topics which we will discuss on this chapter. So first we will discuss what is sound. Class, in our daily life we hear normally different kinds of sound. So those sounds are produced by different objects, and every sound is different from one another. How these kinds of sounds are produced normally. So before that you have to understand sound is a form of energy that produces the sensation of hearing in our ears. It means, class, we can hear sound just because it gives a specific kind of sensation in our ears. So how sound produced normally? So sound produced due to the vibrations. So this is the basic rule of producing sound, that sound is produced just because of vibrations. And what kind of vibrations that is, it depends on that particular object and it gives you that kind of sound. So let's discuss. We have read that the to and fro motion of a body from its rest position is called oscillatory motion. So hope you all aware about oscillatory motions. Class, this is oscillatory motion when, if I am talking about this pendulum has a oscillatory motion. This is the rest position, and when we give force to this pendulum then it goes upwards. So again it comes back and then it goes to this direction. So this is to and fro motion. In oscillatory motion you can see to and fro motion, and you all aware about, class, in this to and fro motion it takes 2 seconds, half second upwards, half second downwards, half second upwards, half second downwards. So they give you now some examples: motion of a swing, motion of a pendulum, of a wall clock. I told you this. So these all are oscillatory motion, and in this motion the body from its rest position moves to the side, comes back to the rest position. I told you earlier. The process is then repeated again and again. The oscillatory motion is repetitive at regular interval of time. So you can see, class, if I am talking about this pendulum, if it is a pendulum of a clock, then it moves continuously, and this is your to motion and this is your fro motion, and it takes 2 seconds to complete one to and fro motion. So it means for to and fro motion it takes 2 seconds in total. The oscillatory motion in which the body assumes a new shape during its motion is called vibratory motion. Suppose, class, this is your pendulum and this is the oscillation, and it is very slow in this time. But if the same process is going very fast, then at that time you can see, class, there is a specific kind of shape is there. So at that time we can say it's a vibratory motion. So in vibratory motion you have a oscillation, but it is so fast, so that's why we call that vibratory motion. And because of vibratory motion it gives you a different kind of image. Like in this time, if this is your scale or any kind of ruler, and if you push that downwards, then it goes in this direction, and it is so fast that it looks that it has a two kind of shapes. This kind of shape it contains. So that is happened just because of vibration, and we can say this is vibratory motion. It's not oscillatory motion, it's a vibratory motion, because vibrations are so fast as compared to oscillation. That's why the fast oscillation is normally known as vibrations. In this time, this is a rubber band, class, and when you press the rubber, at that time it vibrates, and just because of this vibration you can hear the sound of that vibration also. So vibration produce sound also. It is the basic rule of producing sound, that whenever there is a vibration, there will be a sound. In this time, this is a simple rubber band, and if I stretch it, you can hear the sound of vibrations. So this sound is produced just because of the vibration of this rubber. If I stretch it more and more, then it gives you the different kind of sound. It means, class, the number of vibrations are changed, so your sound is also changed. If I stretch more, the sound is different. Here sound is different. You can see it is more stretched than this, so the sound of this upper part is different than this one. So you can see, class, vibration produced sound here. So here they gave you some examples. So when we speak, our vocal cords vibrate to produce sound in our voice box. This can be felt by placing our hand on the throat. When a bell is strung, it vibrates to produce sound. You all know how bell is ringing. With all this discussion, we can conclude sound is produced in the vibration in the body, and when the body stops vibrating, the sound produced by it also ceases. No sound is then heard. It means your sound can only produce just because of vibrations. I told you about these two activities, how sound is produced. In this drum also, just because of the vibrating membranes of the drum produces sound. In this time, class, this upper part, this membranes, when we touch the membranes with the force, then at that time this part is vibrating, and just because of vibration it produced sound. Here also this is a string, and if you stretch, I told you this earlier, it gives you sound just because of vibrations. So class, next topic is sources of sound, and the first is tuning fork. Class, this is tuning fork. This is U-shaped structure, and these parts are normally known as prongs, and when you rub these prongs to the other tuning fork, it produces sound. You can also touch this tuning fork like in this form with the object, then it create a specific amount of vibration, and that produces sound. So here they gave you some activities of tuning fork. You can read this. Next is musical instruments. Class, you all know the musical instruments. If I am talking about clarinet and flute, here the sound is produced just because of the vibrations of air. How the flute is working, how the clarinet is working, you all aware about that. We just only blow the air to these musical instruments and it produces sounds. So all music instruments produce sound due to the vibrations. The musical instruments such as whistle, flute and clarinet, which are in form of pipes, produce sound when air is blown into them. Thus the column of the air inside the vibrate, producing sound. So when you blow the sound to these pipes, at that time that air is vibrating inside the flute or clarinet, and there is some holes. So if you press some holes, if you open some holes, then air get the place to come out from these holes, and when air comes out from these holes, they comes out with a specific sound, and that is the main reason how the flute or clarinet produced sound. Now if I am talking about these musical instruments like harmonium or mouth organ, musical instruments like harmonium and mouth organ contains metal reeds, thin strips of metal, and they produce sound when air is blown through them. So they have a very thin strips of metals. When you blown the air to them, at that time they give you the sound just because of those metallic strip when they vibrates. So in harmonium, class, just because of this, when you open and shut this front part, so just because of that air is blown and that affects those metallic strips. In mouth organ class, you blown the air from your mouth and those strips are vibrating. So these all are vibrating just because of the air, and that air vibrate the metallic strip, and this is the reason how you hear the sound from these musical instrument. A stringed musical instrument, guitar, piano, violin, they all have a string like rubber. So when you press these string at that time, they vibrate and they give you sound. So this is the basic rule how stringed musical instrument produced sound. And class, if I am talking about musical instruments with leather membranes, you can see dholak or tabla, when you hit through your hands to their membranes, at that time that membranes is vibrating. They just vibrating like in this form, and because of this vibration in the membranes, it produces sound.